one. And we're live. This is TikTok Live number 64. It's awesome. I'm entering my 52nd week of chief year. So my last year of chief year. Also, last year of my oral maxillofacial surgery residency. Thanks, everyone, for joining, by the way. The top 5 listeners to the live, this live that's going right now, it's been going for a couple of minutes now before we got a comment. Top 5 listeners, I'm going to be giving you guys a shout out in the caption of the podcast, the YouTube, everywhere, because I got the recording going in the back. So, all right, let's get after it. Thanks for joining, guys. Dog Mom Dentist joined, and I asked what kind of dog, and she said golden doodle and sheepadoodle. Sheepadoodle? What's a sheepadoodle? 3rd year peri resident here. Dog Mom Dentist, awesome. Congrats, 3rd year peri resident. So you're going into your 3rd year, or you just finished your 3rd year? Because if you're finishing your 3rd year right now, you're graduating, right? So congratulations on that. Razmataz joined. Luke, what's up, Luke? Luke, incoming D1, said any dental anesthesiologist you know of to follow. I don't know any dental anesthesiologists that make content and stuff. We need some dental anesthesia content. I don't know, Luke. I'm sorry about that. King Twice joined. Rob joined. Luke got the number 3 gifter badge. Awesome. King Twice 22. Why not medicine? Dude, because medicine, you're going to end up an employee. Medicine it's not the quality of life that it used to be. And I still think that dentistry has a better quality of life on average, depending on the specialty that you go to, depending on where you work, your lifestyle, how much that matches your personality, whether it's corporate DSO versus private practice, because maybe you have the best fit in one practice or the other. I think dentistry gives you more options for that ultimately affords you better potential for a better quality of life than medicine. Just my thoughts. Tooth said, do you think the perio path is worth the time? I'm an incoming D1. Well, explore it. You got to get an idea of what these periodontists do outside of residency. What kind of periodontist would you want to be? What would you be most interested in? And an outside practice, consulting and traveling between general dentist office, doing their extractions and implants for them, their periodontal work. Do you want to work in an institution? A lot of periodontists at the institutions. You got to figure out what you want to do. What's best for you? My chair's making a noise. This chair's not going to give out on me. I fall on my ass, right? In Sigmund, what's up, Brian? Use any Ultradent products? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I use Ultradent products. I don't know of anything recently. Just recently, I've always used the Oral-B toothbrush just because we got free ones in dental school. Great marketing opportunity, by the way, friends. Give dental students a whole dental year free product, whatever you want. I just tried this Aqua, what is it? Aqua Brush, Aqua Soft, I don't know, Aqua something, and it does a really good job brushing my teeth. It's an electric toothbrush. It vibrates rather than shakes, which I was a little skeptical at first, and I tried it out, and kind of tickles your gum rather than directly being abrasive against your gums, which I kind of like because I have a little bit of gingival recession all around in the posteriors, especially on the bottom and the back, and so I kind of appreciate that. I'm considering getting another one as my travel brush, but yeah, we'll see. Just some insight. Dog Mom Dentist going to 3rd year in Florida. Old English Sheepdog and Poodle. Oh, cool. And congrats. Okay, so you're going into your last year and you're in Florida. I got family down there in Orlando. I don't know what part of Florida that you're in, Dog Mom Dentist, but I'm liking Florida a lot. I was almost considering moving there if I could find a job, but it's very hard to look for jobs down in Florida, especially in the area around my family, being in Manhattan right now, In addition to that, there's not as many seasons down in Florida as there are in New York. And I love the change in seasons, going from summer into fall, the leaves falling down, getting some nice fall, some autumn beers, nice cinnamon beers. Oh my God, I could go on and on. Yeah, and then the winter, I love snow. I do like the snow. I don't know if you can tell, I'm like a Viking or something. Basically kind of look like one, right? I'm not a redhead, but I got a little red in the chinny chin. But yeah, so I love the snow. And then, God, summer and spring is just beautiful up here. Right now we just started summer, I guess, right? We are, no, summer starts technically June, right? June 20s. So I guess we're still in spring, and it's just been magnificent. We're supposed to be getting a lot of rain this week, and it was really just Friday, I would say. Anyway, all right, let's get back to it. So, Dog Mom Dentist, love it. I'm a big dog fan. Rutu, starting D1 in a couple months. Any advice on keeping GPA high and starting off strong? Yeah, just get those repetitions in. If you're one of those, I need to write everything down to study with my notes and everything, I would switch to digital as soon and as quickly as possible. I always thought I needed to write everything down and study it. It just takes too long. Then I went to Quizlet. I used the Quizlet premium version where you could put the figures and photos, clinical photos, x-rays on every card. And then I make the cards question, answer. I star the ones I get wrong, continue until I get them all right, and go through that 2-3 times. I was getting 90s and above in dental school like that. So That's my recommendation. Let me know what you think, Rutu. Did you do any research in dental school? I did. I did research at Stony Brook Dental School with Dr. Georgios Romanos, who's a periodontist over there. We were working with lasers, laser treatment on implant surfaces to treat periimplantitis, certain bony wall defects. And I thought it was great. We show that there's collagen degradation on the surface layers of the bone when you have an increase of 10 Celsius or more within 1 minute. So don't do that. You don't want to treat one area too long because you're heating up that area of the implant, for example. And the surface of the implant is against bone. So that bone will therefore, if it increases more than 10 millimeters, if the surface of the bone against that implant, or if the bone that's integrated or against the surface of the implant, if that bone heats up more than 10 degrees Celsius within 1 minute, you're going to fry it. You're going to nuke it. And you don't want to do that with that laser. So that's one of the things that we did in the research project. I thought that was awesome to learn. Amin 94. Hey, Brendan, for private practice OMFS, is it worth reading and learning certain peri and prosth stuff for implants? Guys, more knowledge is better, and definitely having an understanding about how to restore implants will give you a better understanding of how to place them too. So yes, I do think learning about everything, periodontics, prosthodontics, for restorative work for implants is beneficial. Does that make sense? Let me know what you think about that, BM. Lily said, currently working on my personal statement for dental school application. Any tips? Yeah, you want to make it about a page. Don't go overboard, and you want it to be very coherent from start to finish. You should be telling a little story about your life while giving tidbits about who you are, what you've done, without it being too flashy or showy or egotistic or overconfident. You just kind of want to be telling a story that's engaging to the user. And sorry, someone's inviting me with co-host. Not today. But maybe next time. And so, yeah, I lost my train of thought. Just make sure you're explaining things that. Oh, and then kind of summarize it up in a bow, explaining why you are most interested in oral surgery and why that program, right? Or more or less. Brian Signan said, "Go." All right. Liam said also incoming D1. Nice, Liam. Awesome. Jackson said thoughts on Battlefront 3. I don't know. Dude, I just saw one of my buddies and his girlfriend playing. I don't know if it was Fortnite. I think it was Fortnite. I don't know what Battlefront 3 is, but he was playing Fortnite with his girlfriend and she was really good. It was the most awesome thing to see. And now they're like teaching each other. They're working together to get through the levels. I thought that's such a good idea. I would love to do that with my girlfriend and film it. So as we're walking through it and like teaching each other, that would be so cool to show the screen and like how we're working together. I think that's a really cute couples thing. Just my thoughts. Apple user 3835 said, is dental school even worth $500K in debt? Kind of undecided right now. Well, what do you think? Have you looked enough and got exposure to the end goal of the profession? What kind of dentist do you want to be? Where are you going to be working? Is it worth it to you? If you don't know, you need to get more exposure and observe those practices of those dentists more, what their career looks like. Someone said, I want to be your guest dentist from Egypt. Sure. Send me a DM. We'll chat about it. Lori Brown followed the live creator. Thanks, Lori. Lils said, hi, I know this is off topic, but I'm a new college student going for pre-dentistry half. Pre-dentistry. Any tips on getting into programs or scholarships? I mean, as far as getting into scholarships, I don't know. I don't know about that. Getting into because I don't know. I didn't get any scholarships in dental school. Getting into programs, yeah, you got to get a high GPA. You got to get a high DAT score. You need to have a solid application. Show that you had some leadership roles, whether it be clubs, whether it be the pre-dental society, pre-med, pre-healthcare clubs at your school. Show some interest in your passions. I was in the Catholic club at NYU Poly. I was in the Irish club at Stevens. I had a lot of friends that were in music. I DJ'd a couple parties in college. I love that stuff. And those are things that came up in the interviews, right? This is what program directors are looking for how you're unique in yourself and how you stand out from other applicants. You know what I mean? In addition to a good GPA, in addition to a good DAT score, in addition to great letters of recommendation from your faculty. Okay. That's my thoughts. Goober said, oh no, what did I miss? This might be the worst day of my life. I won't be number one now, but good day. Goober was the number one listener on the last 2 TikTok lives, but this is technically not your fault, Goober, because today's Monday. The last 2 weeks were Sunday, right? But we were off today because it's Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to everyone, by the way. Very important to say. I hope everyone, loved ones, friends that are veterans at war, in the forces and are serving or have served. I want to show some appreciation to you guys today too. I switch every year, just a side note, I switch my profile picture every Memorial Day and Veterans Day to a picture I have with my cousin who was in the Navy. My cousin Michael, he was an orthopedic surgeon, only the doctor in my family actually, and he served in the Navy and he passed away from a heart attack at 39 years old. Yeah. I think he was like to go back for his, I don't know if his third, fourth, fifth, or sixth tour. He did a lot, of course. And he was a helicopter pilot as well. He did a lot. He's a very smart guy, bi or trilingual, English, Spanish, and I think partially another one as well. But yeah, he passed away at 39, had 3 kids, just very sad. So that's my little Memorial Day spiel for you. Now you know why, if you follow me on Facebook as well, seeing if I have you on Facebook, that's why I changed it to a temporary 24-hour with my cousin Michael. So anyway, David, new grad, thinking of going for a 1-year OMFS internship. Any advice as on how to be most helpful to residents? Yeah, just always asking how you can help. I mean, you're going to be there for a 1-year internship. You're going to be there a while. You're going to be doing a lot of work. My biggest thing is, why are you doing an internship over working or doing GPR or aiming to go right into oral surgery residency directly? You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? If you didn't get into an oral surgery residency, why didn't you? Do you know what's missing in your application that you need now? Reason being is, if you need the CBSE, I would suggest doing another thing in that year to get your CBSE score up. You most likely won't have enough time as an intern at that program to study for that CBSE. And if you have a low score and that's the missing piece, you might not get that in that year. So I don't want you have a wasted year. Does that make sense? JNZ, what was your GPA and DAT for undergraduate school to get into dental school? My DAT was a 21 academic average, 22 on the PAT, and my GPA was a 3.6. I got a 3.8 at Stevens for the latter 2 years of undergrad, and a 3.4 at NYU Polytechnic. So that's the NYU Tandon School of Engineering now. So I was there, and I played basketball through college as well. That kind of showed some outside activity in addition to a bunch of clubs. I had a handful of clubs and research in undergrad. So that was my application pretty much in a nutshell. Alexis, Perez, Cadena, focusing on high CBSE or more externships for applying to OMFS programs. New grad dentist, 1 year out. Well, what's your CBSE at? Are you over that 70 hump, 75? If you are, then yeah, I would get externships. I would get some exposure to those programs that you're looking to apply to and attend one day, hopefully, right? So it's like one thing or another, but it depends on what you want. You need to give me a little more information there, Alexis, and give me some more info, and I'll help you out. XXX dentition. What's the difference between a non-cat that only does 1 year versus a non-cat doing 2 to 3 years before resi? Non-cat has a lot more years of intern grunt work. That's the difference. I don't know. I don't know any more than that. Goober said it was my dad's birthday. Oh, happy birthday to Goober's dad. Happy birthday, Goober dad. Goober said, had some nice ribs. Oh, nice. Brows accurate said, Brendan, are you married? No, I'm not married. Not yet. See, Benji, would you advise a gap year between undergrad and dental school? You're thinking about doing it? See, Benji, look, it depends on if you need it or not. Someone was on the podcast the other day. It was Aiden at Binghamton. So shout out to Aiden at Binghamton again. And he was saying, do you recommend taking a gap year? Should I take a gap year? Would you do it? Look, only take a gap year if you need to. Does that make sense? If you don't need to take a gap year, what are you taking it for? I highly recommend taking the gap year. But I mean that in the sense of, I really do. I mean that in the sense of use it to your advantage. If you need to take the DAT one more time, or like in my situation, I hadn't taken the DAT yet until after I graduated college. I needed to take that, so I needed to study for it. And then I spent the entire rest of the gap year doing interviews, working two different lifeguarding jobs. I worked as a surgical assistant. I was reading books. I was listening to podcasts. I was learning a lot. I was doing stocks. I was producing music. You don't have to follow my footsteps, but you need to find your direction. Does that make sense? And using that gap year, it might be your last opportunity to really kind of explore those things. Live under your parents' roof and work. Maybe pay them rent or do whatever you got to do, but really explore life for what you want to make out of it. That's your opportunity that you get in that gap year that you won't get continue to be in dental school and under that umbrella. Okay. Because you're really protected from the real world in school. I want you to be ready for the real life. Tamale said LeBron or Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, don't even go there. No chance. There's no comparison between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan brought everything to the court every night. Okay. Landon McCardle said, hardest class for you in dental school? The hardest class was probably one of the perio techniques was actually not so nice to me. She was kind of a meanie. She was a real meanie pants. One of the perio attendings. So be it. Not every perio attending. That's not what I'm saying. Hard class, the prosth. Actually, no, I did much better in everything that involved like physical hand skills. It was mostly didactics. I would say probably maybe it was even biochem in the beginning. That might have been it. That might have been my hardest class. I was also getting acclimated to dental school. It was our first course in the medical school during dental school. Yeah, it was. It was a very hard class for me. That was an adjustment period, and I did not just adjust well to that class. And then I did much better in those courses after that. But yeah, that was not a comfortable time. Yeah, first couple months of dental school. Goober said, we got to hear some of that unreleased music now. Dude, it's on my SoundCloud. Yeah. I need to work. I have a friend who's a music engineer and he does a lot of mastering and stuff. So I'm trying to book a day with him to actually re-release some of the songs the way I kind of really wanted them to go and see if we could utilize his expertise in that. But see, Benji, thank you so much. I'll also give the podcast to listen to. Yeah, let me know what you think. See, Benji, you want to hop on the podcast? Let's do a chat. Anything I could do to help you out, man, you let me know. All right? No, really. Shang said, hi, Dr. Gallagher. Thanks for all your tips. I'm on the wait list for my top choice. Wish me luck. Shang, excellent. And yeah, you got it. Excellent. Give them a call in a couple weeks. Ask them, hey, just want to make sure you received all my application stuff, my materials. I want to make sure that my letters of recommendation came through. Do you still need my DAT score? I want to make sure that, you know what I mean? Just, to be fair. Like, hey, I just want to make sure you received all my application materials. Oh, I was doing that all the time in a friendly way, Liam said, as a first year, hey, didn't you call last week? Yeah. I just want to make sure. Shane said, you are a huge inspiration. Thanks for everything you do. You got it, Shane. And thanks for your kind words. I really appreciate that. Liam said, as a first year, did you join any student organizations like ASDA? Would you recommend any others? I joined ASDA. Yeah. ASDA. And then at some institutions, the fraternity, like the dental fraternity, it's for guys and girls. But to join that, that's nice. I think it's nice. It's not like a fraternity thing. There's no hazing. It's like another organization to be a part of, where you have networking events. Sometimes they host happy hours at the dental school over here. And I really appreciate that. Any excuse, any chance for you to get together with your colleagues outside of work, I think goes so far. I really do. And yeah, ASDA, dude, I loved ASDA. Going to the ASDA annual session. I didn't go my first year, and that was my fault. I went my second and third year. I would have gone my fourth year, but COVID hit. COVID hit literally 2 weeks after we got back from the ASDA annual session my third year. And then there wasn't one for it. Was there one fourth year? Am I missing something? No. I went second and third year. Most amazing time. Some of the best experiences I had in dental school were on ASDA trips. Yeah, that's what I recommend. Landon McCardle said, when did you start studying for the CBSE? I took the CBSE. I didn't study for it after D1 year, but I took it in the summer after D1 year. After that, I took it again in the middle of my D2 year. And I studied hard after D2 year. After D2 year, studied like 3-4 months for that. Then I took it my last time in the middle of D3 year. And I studied about a month for that. That's all I really got for that one, month and a half, maybe 5 weeks. And then I got a higher score, the score I really needed to apply. I really wanted. I didn't get what I wanted when I needed to apply. So those are my times that I took it. Buff, Bunny, Sunny said, if you remove only lower wisdom teeth, do impacted upper ones fully impacted erupt? Well, it depends. Not all wisdom teeth erupt. Some stay impacted. Some stay down there or up there if you're looking at the top ones. Not all wisdom teeth are. Oh my God, the sky is looking beautiful from my apartment now. Can you see it? You can't see it from I'm doing the recording right here. You can't quite see. Wow, the sky is just magnificent right now. Sam Miller said, is going to dentistry a good idea in the coming years in terms of lifestyle, financially, etc.? I'm starting to question that coming now it's like more than 50% of graduating dental students now. What is it? They have more than $250,000 of loans. Yeah, I think it's $250,000 of loans. That's it might be $500,000. I think it's $250,000. And the lack of reimbursement for dentists by insurance companies and the direction of the treatment, it's starting to get questionable. It's starting to become questionable. And I don't want to be pessimistic because I'm an optimist, but I need some like-minded people to come together with me to create a new insurance company that affords dentists appropriate reimbursement rates and work with dentists, create what appropriate reimbursement rates are per treatment and per area. We need to do that. We could utilize artificial intelligence to actually accept more treatment plans and, whatever, rather than denying as much. Yeah, we need to do that. We need to do that now. Jam Bro PY7CP, what do you make moonlighting a year? I don't moonlight. I have 2 side LLCs where we do work all the time, weekends. I do work every single day. Before I go into residency at the hospital and after I get out, I do a lot of work. And that's what you need to do to really kind of get ahead these days. I think, guys, there's so many people complaining that, unfortunately today, there's so many people complaining that they just don't. You got to work. You got to eliminate the distractions and you got to put your head down and work. So many people just don't want to work. They want to complain. One of my biggest things is I need to get my ass out of bed earlier, and it involves getting to bed earlier. And that's something that I struggle with. I do so much work into the night and I have trouble like kind of winding down and getting to bed and just going to sleep. That would really change everything. It's been something I've been trying to do and I've failed over and over again. That's something I'm working on, and I'm not making excuses about it. I'm working into the night. I gotta work harder and faster and get to bed. Can't give excuses. But this is something that I keep hitting speed bumps with constantly. Yeah, so something I think about. Sam Miller said, which do you think is in a worse place now, and when will be the future? Physician or dentist? That's a great question. Which is in a worse place now, and what direction are we going as far as a dentist or physician? I would say it depends on the physician. There's so many types and specialists on the medical side of healthcare, but a lot of them are endangered. The biggest thing that I see right now are the CRNAs. You have the anesthesiologist managing 2 or 3 CRNAs, and I don't know, that's just not what they went into anesthesia for. But these hospitals are taking the cheap route. They're hiring CRNAs because they can pay them less. And if that is right or wrong, I don't know, but I don't think this is the direction that we want to go in a corporate environment. You're just hiring certain people because you can pay them less to do the same work. And that's, business wise, that's like the name of the game. But this is healthcare. These are people's lives at stake. The CRNA was created to get people that are out in the middle of places where they can't get adequate healthcare and anesthesia specifically. But now you're in the middle of Manhattan and you have all these hospitals working on CRNAs like after 2 p.m. What are we going to? What's going on here, guys? That's not what it was created for. So, and that's my proof with the dental therapist push. Like the ADA wants to give dental therapists the ability to do more work and treatment in the dentist office. That's not the issue here. The issue is insurance reimbursement rates. If you're doing 2 surface fillings for $200 a pop, you'd be doing a lot more of them and a lot more of treatment that's out of your scope, right? Anyway, let's keep going. Alexis Perez Cadena, I took the CBSE once D3 year and got a very low CBSE 32. Unfortunately, I want to lock in and do OMFS. Then you need to take the CBSE again, and you need to start focusing all in on that. You got 2 months before the next one in end of July, right? May, June, July. You got 2 months. Hopefully you're taking that one, and you'd be studying right now. Honestly. C. Benji said, I'd love to talk, man. That would be sweet. You've already been a huge help for me. Hey, man. Put together a couple questions. We could just chat. Anything I could do to help, let me know. Let's hop on the podcast when we get like a predental mentoring podcast. And if that would mean a lot to you, that would help you out, you let me know. All right. Hannah said, Hannah followed the live creator. Thanks, Hannah. Thanks so much. Thank you, friend. Liam said, how do you deal with student debt? As someone starting at a private school, it seems daunting. It is daunting. It will seem daunting. I can't give you financial advice. I can't give you advice on loans specifically either. But I think it's a good idea to have a game plan. What are you doing this for? What are you taking all this money out for? Hopefully it is the dream profession and career path that you're looking for. Hopefully you're excited and can stay excited and happy day in, day out. That's what you need to focus on then. It's not going to be the loans. It's going to be, are the loans worth it? Is it worth it despite having potentially $100,000 of debt? Are you still excited to go into work that next day at the career path that put you in that amount of debt? You know what I'm saying? That's a big pill to swallow. But you got to be able to swallow it. So, guys, I can't recommend enough. You need to get enough exposure and experience. And you don't have to be a dentist. You don't have to do dental surgery or dental assisting prior to dental school. But you need to get ideas. Is this career path for you? You won't know 100% until you're in it, doing it in dental school and then working afterwards. But you're going to get a good idea, 60, 70, 80% beforehand if you're getting a couple hundred hours of observing time, of shadowing time with these dentists. So I just, you see what I'm saying? And I think you'd agree with me, right? It makes sense. You got to get exposure to these things before making a decision on your for the next 30 years potentially. Ian said, how do you do? Arian said, got a 65 on my first NBME, 25, disappointed it was so low. Where should I go from here? Study more. I don't usually include the NBMEs on my CBSE mentoring. I usually say work on UWorld, maybe mix in a little bit of AMBOSS, and you got to get, it's really just UWorld, more and more questions. Make sure you're compiling all your resources into just like first aid, sketchy micro, sketchy farm. Get everything in there. I would go through all the boot camp videos, and I would get all that information into first aid, the PDF version on your laptop, so that you could command F it every time you're going back to that on a question from UWorld and AMBOSS, right? And then you're narrowing it down. You're just reviewing sketchy micro, sketchy farm photos, and all of first aid with the command F-ing and your sticky notes, digital sticky notes, right? So that's my recommendations for that. Liam said it does make sense. Thanks, man. Yeah, Liam, you got it. All right, guys, I'm signing off. Thanks so much for coming on. Happy Memorial Day. This is TikTok Live number 64. The top 5 listeners that stayed on this live session. I'm going to be giving you guys a shout out in the caption, to show you some praise. Thank you so much. You're on my team. Thank you for being a part of me through this journey. I'm going into my last week of residency right now. Week 52 of Chief Year. My last week of Chief Year. And you too, Goober. Thanks for coming on, man. Liam followed the live creator. Thanks, Liam. I appreciate that. Greetings. She said, how much do I study a day? Let's say weekend. The highest I studied was 15 hours on a weekend studying for the CBSE, but normal days probably anywhere between 6 to 12 during dental school. Right now, I'm working weekends. I'm not moonlighting. I'm doing work for the side LLCs, and then I see friends and family because I've missed so much of that over the years. I do that now. I spent the entire weekend with family this weekend. I wouldn't have it any other way. Getting ready for the week now. I got my groceries, did the laundry. Gonna go have dinner. Gonna go finish putting the laundry away. Getting ready for the week. Watering my plants in my apartment and setting up, winding down Spanish lessons and making the coffee and lunch for tomorrow. All right, friends. Thanks again. Love you guys. I got to sign off. Going to get going. And wishing you all a great week. All right. Top five listeners of the TikTok Live 64. I'm giving you guys a shout out. All right, guys. Good night. Love you.